Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Teed Up. I'm David.
I'm Justin.
As always, we appreciate you tuning in. I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. Before we wanted to get into anything basketball related, we just wanted to say here at Teed Up, our thoughts are with the family of George Floyd. Unless you've been living under a rock, there was a very disturbing video of police officer, and it was like I said, it was very disturbing. You know, we were debating if we should bring it up because Justin, I don't know, but me personally, I don't like mixing sports with politics. A lot of the times, like I personally don't like that, but I would feel really guilty if I didn't bring it up here. So we just wanted to, discuss that. Obviously, Justin and I, because of the color of our skin, we don't really, know what it's like to go through what the African American community is going through. But we want to know that we support you. We're here for you, and we'll always fight for that. We'll always fight for equality, and definitely. If you want to, we'll put a link in the description for a page that has petitions and things like that you can sign, donation pages. So we'll put that in the description for anything that can help get us through this difficult time. Justin, do you have anything to add?
No, just everyone needs to come together, support each other. No sense in arguing here. It's a tough time.
Yeah.
Everyone just needs to come together, support each other.
Everyone's kind of like on the same page with this. Like everyone just wants to, unite as one. Mm-hmm. That's just one thing you have to keep in mind is there's one race, the human race. And you got to fight to, end racial inequalities, fight for racial equality. So we just wanted to get that out of the way. Like we said, we'll put a link in the description for all the petitions and donation pages. I would encourage you to donate if you can, sign petitions if you can. So definitely check that out. So getting into some of the NBA news, we are getting more news about the league returning. We got news about 22 teams are actually going to be in sort of like a play-in tournament, kind of like what the NCAA does. So 22 teams will go to Disneyland and play it out. So, Justin, I want to know your thoughts on that.
I really like this. I mean, from the beginning, I said it the first time when we talked about this in the very beginning, first time, I said this is going to be the best option. I think you need to go to Disney World and you need kind of almost a tournament to kind of make it fair like this. You need a March Madness style thing. I brought that up in the very beginning, and it's just what makes the most sense. I agree with it. I think it's hard to make a cutoff on teams that go. I think 22 or 24 is it's more than reasonable. I think if you're not in the top 24 teams in the league, you do not deserve to be in the playoffs ever. Like, I think it's a reasonable cutoff there at 24. So I agree with what they're doing here. I mean, I just hope the players agree to it now.
No, yeah, I would agree. And, I was kind of thinking this over. At first, I kind of, my initial thoughts were I just want like the East versus West, like the classic, what we've been doing for, pretty much for as long as we've been watching basketball, just have the eight on two sides. But, when we had our debate about, Damian Lillard not playing if he doesn't have a shot to make the playoffs, well, now he's got a shot to make the playoffs. And Damian Lillard is one of my favorite players and one of your favorite players. So we get to watch him compete for a playoff spot in a play-in type tournament. So this is a great opportunity for Damian Lillard. This kind of pushes aside his thoughts of saying, well, I'm not going to play if I don't have a shot. Now he has a shot, and he can maybe carry the Blazers to a playoff spot in this bracket.
Mm-hmm. It's a perfect setup here. I mean, you influence everybody to want to play because by playing in these games, first off, the NBA will make the money because they'll hit their 70-game mark where they get all the money off the revenue and stuff. So that helps them. Mm-hmm. And with the TV deals and all that stuff, the 70 games is important. So they'll get the 70 games by playing the round robin. And then you get into the tournament with all these teams. It's just a perfect setup. It's a good mix. I'm happy they decided to do this because this was when the lockout happened. This was my kind of original way. This is how I kind of thought of how we should start back up. So I'm happy that's what we're doing. We'll see if it works out. I mean, Still gotta have players vote on. I think they haven't voted on it yet. I don't think so. I think
I,
it's
I
confirmed.
I don't think anything's set in stone. I just think we're getting all like hypothetical news.
This is like the proposal that they have to vote on, I believe. So I mean,
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. I assume it will pass. I think it should pass. I think it's more than reasonable and more than fair.
me personally, like when it comes to sports, I actually like change. Like when they change up the rules and stuff, I like that. I want to like initially I like it because I just want to see like how it's different, and this is exactly
Mhm.
like what's going to happen, and we're going to have a whole different type of playoff bracket. I don't think that this should be like the actual like when the league returns and we're not playing in Disneyland and we have fans at the game and we're playing in our own arenas. I don't think that this should be like the
Mhm.
format. I think we should just go back to the eighth one, two sides, or a 1 through 16 type of bracket. But this looks interesting, and I'm excited to see what happens if they go through with this.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if you weren't in the top 24, 22, 24 teams, you do not deserve to be having a shot in the playoffs. You don't
Hmm.
deserve to be there. So I think it's perfect. They're cutting it off there. Good amount of teams in it. You're making players like a Damian Lillard. You'll get Zion Williams. You'll get John Moran. You have these guys. John Wall may be coming back. You have all these guys now. They'll be playing for something. You get to see them out there. Fans will be interested in it. The players will want to play. I think it's a good mix. I like it.
You'll get viewership. You'll definitely get
Hmm.
more
Oh yeah.
viewership if you have like Dame in there. You have Kevin Durant and coming in, John Wall. So
Hmm.
yeah, this is this idea is growing on me. It really is. I'm all for this, and yeah, definitely. So
Hmm.
what I wanted to ask you, Justin, with the league returning projected to return on July 31st, I'm wondering, you know, when you have the playoffs, when you have this playoff format, and you have this crazy, crazy season, whatever team wins, do you think that there should be an asterisk next to their name, next to their team name, like
Do I
as
think so? Absolutely not. I think the champion is the champion no matter what happens. Now, they did adjust it. I believe the champion should be the champion no matter what happens. Now, is that going to be the case? I do not believe so. I believe when you get people like LeBron fans, Jordan fans, depending on what happens here, it will kind of depend. How this plays out will kind of determine it. Now, say
Mhm.
LeBron wins, all these Jordan fans will be saying, "Oh yeah, well it doesn't count." There's an asterisk next to it.
exactly,
LeBron goes and loses. LeBron fans will they'll people when they bring up LeBron's record, LeBron fans will be like, "Oh, that season didn't count anyway. He would have won if it was a regular season, but since it wasn't, it won't count." You already know that's
exactly,
going to happen. That's
exactly.
how people work. They always look for the excuse out, and this is just an excuse out. I now if now this is a big if. Let's say LeBron James goes and gets Corona, or Giannis gets Corona and then misses, and then his team loses. That is a actual reasonable excuse. There, you can say, "Oh well, there was actually like an issue here, and that's why." You could put an asterisk there. Like if Giannis goes down, maybe you can make an argument. Oh, LeBron didn't actually get to play the best team because Giannis got hurt. But then at the same time, who knows if Giannis would even make it there? Giannis's Bucks may lose, and they may not be playing LeBron in the finals.
Right,
See,
exactly.
you never know. It's tough. I mean, there was no asterisk on the Raptors one last year when they beat the Warriors without. You didn't have Kevin Durant. You didn't have
Hmm.
Klay Thompson. There was none there. There was none on the lockout shortened season. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's touchy.
Corey said it best. Shout out to Corey, by the way. When he was on the show, he said, "Well, the Warriors would have won, or if Clay didn't go down, if KD didn't go down." So yeah, I think people are gonna make excuses no matter what, especially because I feel like more people hate LeBron and want to hate LeBron more than people like him.
Hmm.
That's just what I see personally. So any excuse, anything that they can nitpick at LeBron James, they're gonna do. I know like you see the jerseys behind me and you think I'm kind of biased and you think I'm some huge Bron fan. People call me a
Well, you
Bron
are.
sexual, but that's just not the case. I witness greatness. All right. I'm witness and you're gonna miss it. These LeBron haters are gonna miss him when he's gone. That's what happened with Kobe haters. A lot of people hated Kobe, but once he retired, everyone was like, "Damn, I miss Kobe."
Okay, but I know you, and you're definitely gonna do this. If LeBron wins and Jordan fans bring it up, you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, the season actually counted. He won a
It did.
championship.
Well,
It's
it
legit."
will. It
So
will.
so if the Lakers lose, I better not hear you saying, when somebody brings up, oh, 3-7, you better not hear anything if he
I'm gonna.
loses in the finals again.
Well, I'm
That
okay.
better not that better not be an excuse for you.
All right.
That's all.
Here's how it goes. If he loses, it doesn't count because this whole season was crazy.
Hmm.
If he wins, it counts.
Yeah.
That's his
Uh-huh.
fourth ring. That's exactly how it's gonna roll.
That's how LeBron fans are taking it.
Nah, but let us know what you guys think. Let us know, does this count if, let's say, LeBron or whoever honestly wins the championship? Does it count? I think it does count personally, but let us know what you think. DM us, comment below. Let us know what you think. The next thing we wanted to get into, we're gonna kind of make this throughout the past episodes. If you've been tuning in, you kind of know the trend that we have. It's start, bench, cut. We like playing that game. I personally like playing that game. I think it's interesting. So
Oh,
we have three new players for you. We got three, probably I would say three, the best top three centers in the league, right?
yep, top three
Yeah,
center.
definitely. So Joel Embiid of our Philadelphia 76ers, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, and Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Justin, I'm wondering, out of those three players, who would you start, who would you bench, who would you cut?
Now this may come to a shocker to some people, but to cut, I have to cut. Well, I'll start with the start. In my opinion, I think everyone knows what I'm going to say here, but I'm starting Joel
I
Embiid.
mean, you're wearing
When
the
he is,
process shirt,
yeah,
so.
exactly. When Joel Embiid plays, he is the most talented big man, in my opinion. He's the most talented center. When he is healthy, he is the best. So if I can put him out there at his best, I am putting him out there. He plays well. He's one of the best defenders on the defensive end. He can shoot the three, mid range. He can dunk. He's got the post move package. He's even got some handles there for a big man. So I mean, when you look at his game, there's nothing he can't do other than maybe stay in shape. That's his only issue. But if I'm
And
getting 100%, if we're assuming they're all healthy here, I have to take Joel Embiid as my start. I mean, I
mhm.
don't see how you could not. And then this is where it gets interesting because I think Jokic and Cat are both very talented players, and I'm not trying to like discredit one of them because I think they're both very good, but I have to bench Cat and cut Jokic. For me, Jokic is a good player, but he just doesn't play defense. He doesn't get back in transition, doesn't get anything on transition and offense. He grabs the rebound and just kind of sits. He's slow. He's lazy. He's fat, kind of. He's overweight. He doesn't hustle hard. He's not my type. Like personally, he's not my type of player. I'm not a fan of his. I think he's a very talented player, but I wish he cut a few pounds off. He was running more. His passing phenomenal, but him on the defensive end, I'm not a big fan of his defense, and I like players that can do both, contribute on both ends. They contribute offensively and defensively. In my opinion, that is not Jokic. And while some people may say, "Well, look at Jokic. Jokic has been able to win games, and Cat hasn't." My argument is going to be, who has Cat played with? Cat hasn't played with anybody other than Andrew Wiggins, and Wiggins is not, in my opinion, I think he's a total bust, and
He's
he's
not
not a
even on
good
this team
player.
anymore,
Eh,
so.
Yeah, I mean, and he's on the team anywhere. They got D'Lo. I'm really excited to see that. I'd love to see Devin Booker get there. I think Devin Booker in Minnesota would be a big help for them. I think they'd be a playoff team for sure if that happens, and I think they're a borderline playoff team if they just take this roster into next year. So I really like Cat's game. He can do it all. He's kind of like a Joel Embiid. I think he is not quite as talented, but he can do it all. He's good defensive end. On the defensive end, he's good on
Mm.
the offensive end. He can pass. He not nearly as well as Jokic because Jokic is by far the best passing big man in basketball. But I think he beats out Jokic on the defensive end by far, and I think their offensive games are pretty similar except for Jokic's passing ability. Cat can get up in transition on offense. He can get back and block shots on the defense in transition. So I got to give it to Cat. But I mean, it, I don't think there is a wrong answer for any of these three, other than I think you have to start Embiid because we're assuming they're all healthy in this situation.
Hmm. I mean, look, us both wearing 76ers shirts. This was a total coincidence, by the way. People aren't gonna believe that we think that Embiid should be starting, no question, but unbiasedly, Embiid should be starting, no question. Embiid is the best center in the league. He just has to stay healthy. He's got to stop eating 4 Chick-fil-A sandwiches in one sitting. He's got to get some salads, and Chick-fil-A has good salads, by the way, Joel.
Yeah,
Go to
try salad
Chick-fil-A,
for once.
get the grilled market salad, delicious. You can still get your Chick-fil-A fix, but anyway. Um, so yeah, I disagree with your list. I mean, obviously, I think you should start Embiid, but I'm gonna have to bench Jokic. You were talking about Cat's defense. I don't like him on defense. I don't think he's a very good defender. I don't think he's that strong. I think he gets back down a lot. I don't like his post defense. His perimeter defense isn't good. And I get
Better
it.
than Jokic.
I don't think so. I think Jokic,
It's
honestly,
certainly better than Jokic, but
his per,
I would let you say Jokic has a better offense because I do think he has a better all-around offensive game. But defensively, it's Cat. Cat is much better defensively than Jokic. Jokic is a terrible defender.
yeah. I mean, and that's another thing. But I just, I'm not a fan of Cat's defense. I would rather have Jokic on there, but me personally on the defensive end.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, the only problem with Jokic is just he does have to get in shape, and so does Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid does have to get in better shape. There's no
Yeah.
denying that. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to start Embiid, cut Jokic, or excuse me, start Embiid, bench Jokic, and cut Cat.
I don't blame you for that. I mean, I think it's definitely close. I mean, I think for me, I'd have Embiid there at 1, and then I'd bench Cat and cut Jokic, obviously. But if realistically, there's no wrong answers to any of them in this situation, at least, because I think
There's
all
not.
three of them are very talented players, and they all three have a chance to be the best at their position when throughout their career, at least while they're playing. They can each be called at one point they were the best in their position while they were playing.
Hmm. Yeah. So obviously, it's hard to pick. Just two over the other.
Mhm.
Let us know what you think in the comments section. Let us know what you think on Instagram. We got a new Twitter sorry about my mic. We got a new Twitter, by the way. Make sure you follow that. It's teed_up_pod. So go follow. We'll put a link in the description. Go follow us on Twitter. So we wanted to get into this list. So we're kind of going on a trend with lists with every position. Last episode, you know, we did point guards. By the way, if you haven't seen last episode, go watch it. If you haven't seen any of our previous episodes, I would say go watch it.
Watch,
But
definitely
yeah,
watch.
definitely watch it. It's a great podcast, best podcast on YouTube relating to the NBA. Go watch it. So we did point guards last episode. Now we're gonna get into shooting guards. So Justin, I want to know who your top 5 shooting guards are, and we're gonna put injuries into play here. And injuries are a factor here. So I would have Klay Thompson on my list, but the fact that he didn't play all season, I don't have him on the list.
Okay, well, this is a tough one. I mean, I put Oladipo at 5 just because he did play some games this year, and I think he is an elite shooting guard. He is very talented. He didn't play many games, but he did play some games. That's why I have him on here. He's a very good player. He can do it all. He's good defensively. He's a good scorer. He can distribute the ball. I really like Victor Oladipo's game. I think he is a very good player. I don't he's just not a takeover type player. He's not somebody that's gonna take over the game for you. You know what I mean? He's not one
Right.
of those players where I'm confident. Like these next guys on my list, I'm giving you the ball down the stretch, and I'm confident. Victor Oladipo, I'm not sold yet, and that's
He,
why
I mean,
he's a good player.
he did take the Cavs to 7 games though in the first
Oh,
round
oh
in
yeah,
18,
he's a decent
17,
player.
18.
He's a decent player, but I'm not confident I have him as my star elite scorer here. I think I'd rather take these. The reason I'm taking these other guys over him is because I certainly would be confident in having them as my best player here. But number 4, I would end up having Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is a tremendous player, but the reason I can't put him any higher is he doesn't win basketball games. Bradley Beal does not win basketball games at all. And my next player doesn't win basketball games either, and that's another reason why I have him low. But Bradley Beal does not win basketball games. Now he doesn't have a good team around him, so it doesn't help him. But
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
he doesn't win basketball games, and I think he's a very talented player. But how many of those points are inflated stats? How many of those points are not good or not like true stats? How many of them are just because he has a high usage rate? How many of that? It's tough. He was able to succeed with John Wall, though, so I do have to give him a little credit there. They played well together then. But he's really come on of late as a dominant scorer. But how much of that is because he's taking all the team shots, you know? And he's taking all the team shots and they're still not winning. So,
I mean, they're like right out of a playoff spot,
yeah, but I mean, they're not above 500 or anything.
but they're like ninth place. I mean, they're only like what 5 games, 6 games behind, something like that.
Yeah, but still, I'm not a big fan of. I like Bradley Beal a lot. I think he's a good player. Not discrediting him here, but I'm not a big fan of his. I'm not a big fan of his when it comes to scoring and winning at the same time. I don't know if he can do that. We haven't seen it yet, at least. Until we see him win basketball games and put up 40 plus points, I'm not sold on him. I think he may be a bit of a stat pattern right now, being honest.
Well, obviously empty stats are part of it. I agree because you are playing for the Wizards, but
Hmm.
I think I totally think that he was always a sidekick when John Wall wasn't injury prone, wasn't always not playing. But you've seen him step up into this role as the number one guy for the for the Wizards, and
Yeah.
I've seen him dominate. I think he's doing tremendous. I think if you put him on a good team with good players around him, which the Wizards are, the Wizards run their team terribly, and they build around Bradley Beal and John Wall terribly. So,
Hmm.
but I think if you get a good team around Bradley Beal, I'm not saying he has to go to like a super team or anything like that, but if you put him around and you give him the tools, I think Bradley Beal is an amazing player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Bradley Beal. I'm just not sold yet. I think he is. He's definitely top five, no doubt about it. But I don't know if I can put him in my top three yet, just because he hasn't won games. I know the other guy's a little controversial too, but he's a very good player. He can score the basketball. That's been proven. But can he do it and win? Yet to be seen. So next, I will have at three. I have Devin Booker, which kind of controversial, but I think Booker is a little bit better of a scorer. I mean, I think he can kind of do it all. He's a good player. He's had an arguably a worse team other than this year than the Wizards. His teammates are not very good. He hasn't had any help there. He got Aiton, but Aiton got suspended. I don't like the fact that he kind of struggles at times. He kind of goes into shooting slumps, but when he is on,
But,
there is no stopping him. I mean,
but
we saw him drop those 70 points on it was the Boston Celtics. So I mean, when he is on, I think he has more potential than Bradley Beal, which is why I have to give it to Bradley. Watch, I have him over Bradley Beal, but
but you were talking about the fact that you don't have Bradley Beal in your top three because he doesn't win games. Devin
mhm,
Booker, have you plays for the
he
Phoenix
hasn't won games
Suns?
either.
For the
Exactly. That's why I
Phoenix
said these
Suns.
two are not. These two are both there. I mean, it's not his fault. Neither of them. It's their fault. But I mean, we've seen what Bradley Beal can do as with another All Star. Devin Booker hasn't had that yet. We've seen Bradley Beal with John Wall. We've seen that. That didn't work. That wasn't a super team. What happens if Devin Booker gets a true superstar with him? We haven't seen that yet. So that's why I think he has more potential than him right now. I think
Or
he
what?
has a little higher potential.
But how do you know? Because D Book could just be putting up empty stats.
He could be, and so could. As I said, these two are not proven. These two are flip flop. They don't really matter. They're
But I
kind of the
think
same.
but Bradley Beal is more proven than Devin Booker.
Mm,
He
in my
absolutely is. He's been to the playoffs. I mean, I know he was there with John Wall, but still, he's been to the playoffs. He knows what that's like, and he could
yeah, but
probably
see,
lead a
that's
team.
the difference. Devin Booker has so much more potential. When's the last time Bradley Beal dropped 70 points in a game?
All right, but guess what happened in that? He lost that game. He lost that game
Who
by
dropped
8 points.
70? Who dropped 70 points in a game? Who's a
All right,
bet?
but he
It
lost
doesn't.
that game, and he's the only one that scores for the Suns. Well, of course you can. I could probably drop 70 points on the Suns
You
if I signed a 10 day.
you could not. You couldn't even drop 10.
Yes, I could. Okay, I could drop 30
No,
for the Sun.
no.
No, no, no. Look, you put me on the Suns.
Okay, yeah. If you're shooting every shot,
Yeah, I could
maybe you
drop
score 10
7.
points.
I could drop 70.
No, you wouldn't drop 70.
Dude, I could for the
It's
Phoenix
an elite.
Suns.
It's an elite class to drop set. You have to be in the elite
For
class
the
to drop
Phoenix Suns,
70
and I
points.
can't and I
That's
can't get
Kobe Bryant type numbers.
and I can't get stage fright for playing for the Suns because nobody even goes to the games. All right, so I could easily average 70 on the Suns. If I played for the Suns my whole career, I
That's what
would be.
it's the same thing. Bradley, that's what I said. Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, they're the same players. It's controversial. You can put them 3-4. In my opinion, they're 3-4. It doesn't matter where you have them. They're good players. They're just not winners, and we haven't seen them win yet. So it's hard to judge them. We haven't seen them at their peak. I think Booker is just entering his prime, while Bradley Beal is in his prime, and Devin Booker's putting up pretty good numbers for not really being in his prime yet, whereas Beal is in his prime. And then 2, by the way, we are having Luka Doncic as a shooting guard because that is his natural position, and we are
That's what
not.
he's listed. Yeah.
He's listed as a shooting guard. He brings up the ball and plays point guard, but he is. If that's the case, then we have LeBron James playing point guard and all these other
James
guys playing
Harden's a
point
point
guard. Yeah,
guard technically.
because they
So
bring up the ball, but that's not true. We do not. We're going off of positions. We know basketball's been positionless now, but we're going off of
sometimes
positions.
Joel Embiid brings up the ball. Are you gonna
Yeah,
say he's
Draymond
a point guard?
Green.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
yeah. See, we're just going off what their positions were. When he entered their league last year, he was considered a shooting guard. So that's why we have him at shooting guard, and that's why I have him at 2. He is, in my opinion, a winner. He can win basketball games. He's a good player. He can do it all. He can shoot. Not great, but he can shoot. He can finish. He can pass. He can rebound. He can dribble the ball. He can do it all. Very good player. Very talented player. I really like him. I think he has a chance to be very special. I mean, very special. And
I mean, he already
I'm
is.
excited. He is. And I mean, that's just how much potential he has. He can be very good. But this next guy is even better right now.
I already know you're gonna say, and I don't like it. But go ahead.
It's James Harden. James Harden is without a doubt the best scorer in basketball. When it comes to James Harden, he is always inventing something new. He always has a trick up his sleeve, basically, is what I'm trying to say here. Whether it's the step back, the one-footed step back,
Oh,
the little mid-range, the floater, the crossover, he's always having something new. He's always dominating.
he invented the crossover and the step back.
No, I'm saying he's adding on to it. He's adding the one-footed step
Well, by
back.
traveling and then getting away with it.
It's not a travel.
It's
It's
a
not a
travel.
travel, dude.
It's a travel.
In the NBA, that's what makes James Harden so special. He is bending the rules without breaking them. That's
Oh,
literally what makes him so special.
do I need to? I sent you the highlight reel of him traveling and
It's a
flopping.
gather. Yeah, it's a gather step. It's a gather step. He
It's not.
goes.
It's
Yes,
it's 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 not. They
in the
count
rule
the
book.
steps. They count at 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he shoots it.
It's
One,
three
two, three, four.
steps, and the
Shoot.
first step's a
1, 2,
gather
3,
step.
4. Shoot.
It's 3 steps, and the first step's a gather step. It's how the NBA works.
Oh,
Whether you like it or not, it's how the rule book's written. And rewrite the rule book if that's not how they want it. He's bending the rules. He's still within the rules. He's not taking more than 2 steps once he finally picks up the ball. And credit to him for doing that. There's nothing, you don't hate him for that. You gotta like admire that. That's special. I mean, he is going out of his way and changing the game of basketball. Is what he's doing.
are you done?
Yeah.
Are you done? Okay, thank God. Because I didn't know how much more of that I could take. That's ridiculous. But we've already debated James Harden like a million times. I feel every episode we bring out James Harden just has to swoop in.
Yeah.
But like we could have a whole entire episode. We should have him on the show.
Just wait till he wins his ring this season, because there won't be any strip clubs for him to go to in Orlando. He's winning the ring. I'm just telling you, it's true. Go look at his stats. His stats drop dramatically when he's playing at a city that has a high amount of strip clubs. It's true. It's
Ah,
statistically proven. Whenever they are on the road playing in a city, so like, if he goes to like some city like Oklahoma City, it doesn't have a lot of strip clubs compared to like a city like LA that has more.
like Miami. Like if he goes to like Miami.
Yes, he'd fail in Miami because of stuff like that. He likes to go out and party. That's one of his issues.
So he does worse when he's in like a party city.
Yes, basically.
Okay, so like he
So,
wouldn't do well in Philly because it's not a party
well,
city
it's
here.
not a party city,
It's not
but
really a party city.
like you know what I mean. When he's on the road like that, he tends to go out and have more fun when he's on the road compared to at home or in a party city. It's just statistically what his numbers show. So
Really?
there
Like you
won't.
look like you looked this up?
Actually, I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
I have it right here.
If
It's actually it's
if you have
actually
the
true.
link, we're gonna put that in the description because I'm actually curious to see. Definitely
It,
send
it
me
went
that.
it went viral.
Did it
Because
really? 'Cause I
yeah.
didn't hear it. Wow.
Hmm.
I believe it because he does like being.
It was sometime last year that this came out.
Wow. I didn't hear anything about, but I do believe it because he likes being
Yeah,
in the
no,
spotlight. Like he gave
yeah,
it a
no. As a
Kardashian.
James Harden fan, I remember when that came out, and the box score shows he plays better. His box score numbers are better when he's in a city that has less strip clubs or less worst rated strip clubs. I think it is
I
something
did
like that.
I did not know that. And wow.
Yeah,
So my guess is
and
that
that won't happen.
wow.
There's no strip clubs when they're quarantined in Atlanta or in Orlando, not Atlanta, Orlando. So
Wow.
you
So if
may
he
have a
played
chance to do
wow.
well.
So if he went in Vegas, he would do just terrible.
Yeah, don't
All right.
James Harden should
NBA
not
put the
sign with a
put
Vegas
put
team.
the NBA in Vegas.
Mm-mm.
So James Harden can't win a ring. Wow. I did not know that about him. Wow. So my
Yeah,
guess is that he doesn't do well against the Nets, the Knicks, the Clippers, and the Lakers. That's my guess.
yeah, probably. I don't have it up anymore, but yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna put that in the description and send that to me. But
Mm.
let me give you my list. Um, so at number 5, I think he's I think he's honestly underrated. Amazing on the offense, on defense, he's amazing. Former 76er, all-star when he played for the Sixer. Got to give it to
So
Drew
bias,
Holiday. What?
bias.
It's not biased at all. It's not biased at all. He left the Sixers what? 7 years ago, 6 years ago.
Oh
So
yeah, that.
he's more of a Pelican. I got to give it to Drew Holiday.
Mhm.
I'm giving it to Drew Holiday. Like I said, he's amazing on offense, amazing defender. I got to give it to him, and I think he's going to do great. Being a mentor for these young guys, for Zion and for Brandon Ingram and guys like that. So I got to give it to Drew Holiday. At number 4, even though I kind of ripped into him for saying, well, he plays for the Suns, so he's not all that. But I got to give it to D Book. Even though he lost that game, and I kind of discredit dropping 70 a little bit. 70 points is still impressive to drop,
He
especially
was
when he
on the
did it.
Celtics,
Yeah,
who are a good defensive team.
yeah, especially when he did it at what 21, 22, something like that.
Very young,
Very young.
very
So
young.
I guess he might have even been younger than that. If anyone knows the age, let me know. But yeah, I got to give it to D Book. At number 3, I absolutely love this guy, and I think I really want to see him, especially if he plays in this play-in tournament. Bradley Beal. I got to give it to Bradley Beal here. I think he's a lot more proven than Devin Booker. I think he's just an outstanding player. I think he's consistent. I think he has the mentality, that Mamba mentality where he just wants to win at all costs no matter what. So I got to give it to Bradley Beal at number 3. 2 and 1 are kind of tied for me. I'm kind of torn. As much as I rip into him, and by the way, a lot of people think like I hate James Harden personally. I
You do,
don't. I
you
don't.
do.
I don't hate him personally. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I just don't like the way he plays. Like I just hate. I hate the way he plays.
Hmm.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, and if he wants to come on the show, please come on the show. We'd love to have you, James Harden. Uh, but I just can't stand the way he plays. So tied for 2 and 1. I got James Harden and I got Luka Doncic. And I think they're
But
kind of on the same level if we're counting Luka Doncic as a shooting
not
guard.
yet. I think Luca will be, but right now there is no way you can have James Harden in the
Well,
conversation with Luca.
well,
I think Luca will be, but James Harden has an A tier. There's James Harden up here, Luca down here, and then there's everyone else down here. I mean, they're the 2 winners and consistently put up good numbers. But James Harden has been doing it longer. He's had more success, and he's put up better numbers. So I think you have to give it to James Harden.
I'm not denying that, but the reason I kind of put them on the same level is because I think the Mavericks will go farther in the playoffs than Houston. And I think
Well, I
and
mean,
I think a big part of
I'd take Dallas's team and coaching over James Harden's team and coaching any day of the week.
but I think a big part of that is Luka Doncic's impact on the Mavericks versus James Harden's on the Rockets, where he only cares about getting his triple double, getting his 35 points a game. I don't think he really cares about getting a ring per se.
He does care about
But
getting a ring, and that
but
is
we went over that.
Luca. Luca Luka isn't that important. His team still had success when he wasn't playing. Take James Harden on that Rockets team; they have zero success. It's like Giannis in the Bucks. Giannis is a good player, but he's almost so much of a system player because while Giannis is very good and he'd have success in any system, the system benefits him so much that if you put it this way, replace Giannis and Ben Simmons, the Sixers have only a slightly better record. Meanwhile, the Bucks are still the number 1 team in the league because that team is full of shooters and they have that role. Like Giannis's role can be filled by anybody. Put same thing with Luka. put Luke on a different team. It's
What about
the
Harden? He's
system.
got Eric Gordon coming off the bench. Can't they just put in Eric Gordon?
Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon's not good anymore. What is this?
He's a
2016?
decent player. You can put
No, he is
if
not. With all
but
the
but
injuries he has had, no
but
way.
if you fill him in for James Harden, they'll
No,
do all right.
they do not do well. The Rockets have done poorly when James Harden does not play. Meanwhile, you get the Mavericks who are still winning basketball
Well, they're
games when he
still
doesn't
playing
play.
poorly, but they're still playing poorly
I'll take Seth Curry,
even
Tim
when James
Hardaway,
Harden's on the floor, they were doing poorly.
Jalen Brunson. I'll take any of those guys over
Before
him.
the season got suspended, the Rockets were struggling, and James Harden played in those games.
So it doesn't means he's a bad player. Every team struggles throughout the season. The Mavericks have done the same thing with Luke on the
But
court.
once they got
The
rid of Clint,
Mavericks also went in.
once
The
the
Mavericks
Rockets got
also
rid of
went in.
Clint Capella,
The Mavericks went in to Milwaukee and beat the Bucks without Luka. You think the Rockets without James Harden are going and doing that? Absolutely not. No way. Not a chance.
we've debated this at least a million times on this show and off this show.
Yep.
This is why we need to have James Harden on the show, just to have him explain, just explain himself. Explain himself to me. If he wants to get angry at me, that's fine. James Harden, I'm sure you're a nice guy. I just hate the way you play. I can't stand watching him play. Every time I cringe every time I watch him play. But that's our list. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you hate it with a passion? You probably do. Maybe you do. If you don't, I don't care. But let me know. Let us know in the comment section below. Let us know on Instagram. Let us know on Twitter. So the last topic we wanted to get into, the draft is kind of coming up. I mean, it's what, a month or two away. So, well, I mean,
maybe
but
we don't really know.
If we're doing like a regular season timeline, the draft would be, I mean, the lottery would have happened already. So
Yeah.
we wanted to talk about probably the biggest name in the 2020 NBA draft, Lamelo Ball. And, obviously he has his brother in the NBA, Lonzo Ball, plays for the Pelicans. Obviously he's having a pretty good career, I would say. He's a good defender. He's a pretty good scorer. He's developing his jump shot. So my question for you, Justin, is who do you think will have the better career? Because we can still debate that since Lonzo is only in his third year. I'm wondering, who do you think will have the better career, Lonzo or LaMelo?
It's tough because I think they both end up being good players. I think Lonzo is more of a role player. I think he's a good all-around player. I don't think he's going to be a star, where I think LaMelo has that chance to be a star. I think LaMelo has a better shot. He's a better scorer. I think his passing ability is about the same level as Lonzo, but I don't think his defense is as good as Lonzo. I think Lonzo beats him out in the defensive end. Lonzo's a pretty underrated defender, in my opinion, at least. And it's tough. It really is tough, especially at this age. But one of the reasons I have to go LaMelo is because of what Lonzo said about him. He said, I think he's going to be a better player than me for sure. I mean, at his age, he's better than me when I was his age. I mean, currently he's not better than me, he said, but I think he probably will be. And I think that goes out to show when you have a guy like Lonzo. I mean, it's tough though because it's a brother. Like, of course, he's not going to diss on his own brother. But
Yeah,
at
that's
the
what I'm
same
saying.
time,
Like, he's not going to be like, yeah, he's going to suck.
But he did give him credit enough to say that. So like, it's tough. They're good players. I don't think there's a wrong choice, but I gotta go with LaMelo. I think his potential is the potential's a lot higher, but there is a little more risk with him. I think Lonzo is the safer floor. We know what we're getting with Lonzo. LaMelo, you don't necessarily know what you're getting. I mean, kind of like Luka, you didn't know what you were getting. He didn't play college ball, so he's taken a path that not as many choose, although we'll see more players opting out of college here with the new rule and all these people go with the G League stuff. And so we'll see how that translates. But it's tough to tell because you never know how a Euro player is going to translate over. But he's played with American players most of his life here. I think LaMelo ends up being the better player by the end of his career, though, just because I think he's a better, crafty offensive player.
You said that there wasn't a wrong answer. There absolutely is. And I'll tell you what, I watched a lot of LaMelo at, when he played in high school for Chino Hills. And, my good friend Drew, who's like a huge high school basketball fan, shout out to Drew. You know, but he obviously knows the game better than me. He obviously knows the high school game better than me. I don't know the high school game that well, so
Mhm.
but when I watched Lamelo at Chino Hills, and even when he played for Lithuania, I just thought he was like so overrated. I think Lamelo is insanely overrated.
Mhm.
You know, I wish him. Obviously, I wish him the best of luck, and when he gets drafted, I hope he does well in this league. But I think he's inconsistent. I think a lot of the times when he scores, it's cherry picking. He doesn't play that much defense, unlike his brother. Uh, a lot of it is stat padding. A lot of it is when they're up by like 40 points, and he just keeps running up the score. He keeps doing that bush league stuff. So I think Lonzo will definitely have the better career. Like I said, he's a good scorer, amazing defender, one of the best defensive guards in the NBA.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I
he's a
would,
solid
I
defender.
would, I would. I
Hmm.
think he's showing a lot of signs that he can be one of the best defenders, one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. So
He's a good defender, but he's nowhere near great.
I think he's a
He's
great
so
defender. I think he's
flawed.
a great defender, and I think the only thing holding them back from that is his injury. So Lonzo will be light years better than Lamelo, in my opinion.
I think I don't. I think it'll be. I disagree with that. I think it'll be very close. I think they're both. Neither one will be a superstar like people had projected them to originally be when they were back in high school.
Right.
Neither one will be a superstar, but I do think. I think Lonzo becomes a guy that's just a role player, kind of a guy that puts up 14, 7, and 5 every night. Which is nothing's wrong with that, but he's not going to be a guy that's dropping
Well, there
28 and 8 or
there
anything.
there is something wrong with that when you were hyped up as much as you were, but
Well,
that's
I
not
think the Ball brothers were hyped up way too much to begin with.
right. I agree.
Because in my
I would
opinion,
agree with that.
they were both good players, but neither of them were great players. Think I think they're both going to be good players. I think Lamelo is going to be a guy that averages, say, 22, 6, and 3, whereas Lonzo averages 14, 7, and 6, something like that. I think
Hmm.
you're going to get more scoring out of Lamelo, but you're not going to get the same defense. You're not going to get the same all around player. And
You're not going to get the defense from
yeah,
him.
you're not going to get the all around player that you get. You're going to get more of a Trey Young, a Steph Curry, like a guy that cares about scoring and doesn't play much defense. You know what I mean? You're not going to get that all around guard you're not going to get a true point guard out of him. And if I'm building a team, I would probably take Lonzo because I know what I'm getting out of him. Whereas Lamelo, you don't know what you're getting. Lamelo's more of a risky pick.
Right, and Lamelo's whole career was interesting, and it was very complicated because he played at Chino Hills. So the main his main thing was he said, "I'm going to play at Chino Hills. I'm going to go to UCLA, play there for a year, then I'm going to go right to the draft." But then his dad was like, "I'm going to take you out of Chino Hills. You're going to play for Lithuania. Then you're going to play for this uh, big baller brand league."
Yeah,
And he actually tried to go back to college, but obviously with the
he wasn't
rules,
allowed to.
you're not allowed to once you play professional. You can't go back to college. But so you know, it's weird. He's definitely had a weird career. He definitely had a weird basketball career so far. So I think just solely on the fact that Lonzo had a pretty not easy, but he had a more simple path to the league. He played at Chino Hills, played at UCLA. Then he went right to the Lakers. So I think Lonzo just be that plays a big part. I think that plays a big part in why Lonzo will be the better player overall when both of their careers are done.
Yeah, it'll be tough. You don't know what Lamelo is going to be in the NBA. I mean, clearly Lonzo is not what he was hyped up to be. We'll see if Lamelo can be. I think Lamelo is going to be a much better scorer, but I don't think he gives you the total all around package that Lonzo gives you. So it will be interesting to see what ends up happening with the two of them. We'll
Yeah,
see. What do you think? Where do you think he goes in the draft? Do you think he's a top 3 pick?
top three definitely. But
Do
that's
you think
that's not because of how he plays. That's more just hype.
you think it's high?
Uh,
I think he goes. I don't think he goes top 3. I think he. Well, it depends. We'll see how the draft falls here because
Well,
it depends. Obviously, it depends on what teams go where and
yeah, exactly. It
who's point
depends.
guard needy. Whereas a team like the Warriors, you're obviously
Hmm.
not taking a guard, so it depends on who's picking where and what happens there, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's a top 3 pick. I think he's more of a 4, 5, 6 range.
I think he'll be a top 3 pick. I just don't think he necessarily deserves to be a top 3 pick just because obviously I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I just don't like his game. A lot like James Harden, but
Okay.
obviously that's a whole another discussion. But let us know what you think. Is Lamelo all hype, or will he live up to the hype? Will he be better than Lonzo? Will Lonzo be better than Lamelo? Let us know in the comment section below. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up this episode. We appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget, make sure if you're on Spotify, make sure to follow us. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check the description for the link for all the change petitions and donations for George Floyd to help us come together, help us unite. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.